Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside the top dog. We got it, Bark, because if we don't, we'll cry.
Yeah. Gab is it's terrible.
It wasn't an ugly look for our brownies over the weekend, but on a brighter note, it was pretty cool. It was the first time I got to enjoy the game with Hanford. I ended up going with some big play. Big Play Jack came with us, and we went to the dog pound, to get a real experience. We've got a friend of ours, Darren, who was on our show earlier, got us tickets, and we were in the dog pound, then club seats, and we found you.
It was funny because I couldn't believe it. I mean, every time you turn around, somebody was coming up to Gab, and she was just a celebrity up there. And they look at her laugh, and they're taking pictures. They want to take a picture with Gab, and I was like, "You go, girl, with your bad self." In the I could not believe that. Gab coming there. What were you drinking at first? You were drinking.
I had a coffee with sprinkles. It was like mint coffee.
Because she still wasn't feeling well. I mean, you were okay, but you still wasn't feeling well, and a little bit under the weather, I would say. And I made her, Pat. I made her have a beer or two. I said, "You gotta have a beer with me up here." I said, "This game is bad enough. We
gotta have the beer jacket.
We have to have a beer," and she did. So we had a good time, though, didn't we?
Yeah, you know what? I had such a good time, and it was really cool to see Hanford in his element. If you haven't gone to a Browns game, it's really cool to just be able to see Hanford in his element, and some of the alums who are still so connected with the team and really care about the fan base. It's very mutual. Like, it's really cool to see that in motion, that love and just that joy.
Yeah, we sat there in the cardiac club, and it was funny. You're watching everybody how they pretty much cater to me up there, and I have my little seat. I sit right there at the bar, and I just love it though when all these kids come up. And
the kids were so cute.
And their mom and dad are trying to tell them, they say, "Hey, this guy created the dog pound. This guy played for the Browns," and just to watch their eyes just really light up is just it's just so funny. So that was pretty good. So
I really enjoyed it.
But Gab, I get back to this game.
Besides the game,
I just don't know. I just
where
don't.
Are you at,
I'm like
this week.
I'm like torn with this whole thing. I mean, Stefanski and Andrew Berry. I know Stefanski is a good coach. I know Andrew Berry is a good GM, but when you look at this team, it doesn't. I don't know. I'm just so confused. I'm just so. I'm just tired of this team losing. I mean, I really am, because at this point of the year, I mean, when I played, we're always, and you hear me say this all the time, we're always trying to. Position ourselves where we're going to play our first playoff game, whether it's going to be a home game or whether or not it's going to be on the road, whether or not we're going to win the division or whether we're not going to win the division, and we're not even close. I think we've finally been eliminated from the playoffs when you look at this whole thing, and 3 games is all that we have won. We're at the bottom of the AFC North. It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, I go back, like I said, I always tape the game. And I go back and I rewatch the game, and it was just, it was hard for me to watch. I mean, it was really, really hard for me to watch.
I know, that's a tough one to go back into.
So I don't know. I just, Pat, it's just mind-boggling to me where we are at this stage, and then you look at it. We had Nick Chubb again.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about Nick Chubb and his foot.
I mean, that's something we're going to get into.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's so much. It's the penalties and the turnovers, and oh man, you hate to see it with Nick Chubb. I think that was kind of the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Well, I was
emotionally for some of the fans, like for me at least.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, what did you guys think about that whole Myles Garrett thing being poked in the eye? I mean,
and what was that?
Oh, that was crazy, guys.
It was crazy.
I thought he would never see the field again.
I thought he got his eye gouged.
Yeah, genuinely, like Mason Rudolph.
This man blinded someone, and that's our guy.
And then he popped right back up.
Yeah, and then I don't know. It was a bizarre day.
Hey, Gab, Pat's starting to. He's been around me too much. He's starting to sound like me. Pat, what was that again?
That was crazy. That was low down. That was crazy. That was low down, Hanford.
I love it.
Man. You are low down.
Low down. That
Low
was
down.
crazy.
Roll Tide.
But it was, what was funny? I mean, it wasn't funny, but I thought it was. I watched it and I looked at it, and I never saw the tackle finger or anything go in his
you know
eye.
what? So I'm interested that you brought that up. I didn't either,
Yeah.
but
the
I
way
don't know, something happened.
the way I saw Miles and the way he was,
Yeah,
on the ground and the way he was rolling around and the way he was, I was really scared.
I was too.
I mean, I said, man, this is a serious injury, and there's no way he's coming back into this game.
Right, I know it.
And but my understanding was he normally would have a visor on his headgear to prevent something like that, and he took it off for this game or something like that. I don't know, but this is what I heard. I don't know whether it's true or not.
Okay.
But obviously he didn't have one on because he got poked in the eye. But I'm just glad he's okay. But I just thought it was a lot the way he was rolling around on that ground. But what did you think? I know you like Nick Chubb a lot. What
I
did
know.
you think about that?
I was with you on the Myles Garrett thing because when it went down, I think everyone was thinking the same thing. So glad he's all right. And now I'm just the wind is out of my sails for Nick Chubb because a big piece of hope for this team and just positive energy was his return, and then us kind of like playing this game of watching him get back to himself and start to make little plays here and there. He's not, OG Nick Chubb, but just seeing his progression was still comforting and encouraging. And now it's just like, bummer.
Well, here's a big question, too, and you're right. The big question is we were already, we hadn't seen the old Nick Chubb who we're used to seeing, the guy that's averaging 5-6 yards a carry, the guy that can get over 100 yards, with little effort. And I don't think we've had a 100-yard rusher in 6, 7, maybe 8 games right now. It's been really, really tough. And since he's been back, I mean, obviously that second surgery on that same knee, he hasn't been the same Nick Chubb. And we keep waiting for that. We keep waiting for that. We keep waiting for that. And now we won't see any of that because he's broke his foot. But I think the good news, if there's good news coming out on this thing, hopefully he's not going to need surgery. So.
Right. I'm hoping that that's the case as well. And maybe he just needs a little more time anyway. And this season, we already know this season is just not a wash, but, we're just trying to get through the end of it at this point. So maybe just let's let our guy get real healthy.
Yeah, guys, and one of the few things, I know Nick's going to be out, but Jerome Ford looked really good. And I'm going to toss this tweet up here, guys. This is from Next Gen Stats, but Jerome Ford reached 21.7. Yeah, I didn't think it. You know what I mean?
Remember when I turned to you during the game? I was like,
yeah.
Who was that,
okay,
right?
His form, coming from a track background here, I was like, that's beautiful.
You could have.
Not that I didn't appreciate it before, but it was really on full display, and I was like, okay.
You could have changed the 3 to a 2 and been like, that is Nick Chubb, right?
Yeah.
So I was pretty encouraged by that.
You're right with those numbers because all we see is that 4 on the back, and we don't know whether it's a 3 or a 2.
Wait a second.
But guys, I'm telling you guys, not just because of the way he's playing. I've always liked Ford. I mean, and I've always liked Pierre Strong too. I always like those two backs and the way they run. But Ford, you could tell he's got the jets. You could tell that he's got the speed, and you could tell if you give him an opening, I mean, you're not going to catch him. Did you see where the defensive back was trailing him or trying to catch him, and they were side by side for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Ford just took off and just ran away from everybody? What was that?
Look at this, Hanford. You can see the dots right now, but look at him going up the sideline.
Yeah,
I mean, he is gone once he makes that cut.
And it was,
that was cool.
And it was funny how he saw that hole and he bounced it to the outside and came straight down. And I think, what was it, 62, 64?
62 yards, 21.7 miles an hour.
Wow.
I mean, so you can see it there on the tweet.
I'm glad you pointed out the miles per hour
right.
because the nerd in me was like, okay, the other thing is this man was on fire.
Exactly. But if you look at it, too, he's responsible for 3 of the fastest speeds of the last 5 seasons.
That's crazy.
I would not have expected that.
And with Ford, with that run, I was talking about it. I was giving him a hard time saying we hadn't had a 100-yard rusher in like 6 or 7 games, but he did it. He broke that thing because I thought he ended up with like 104 yards rushing, but it was mostly that big 62.
That big 62, yeah. I think he had 84 total.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Jeudy, we got to give him some love too. I still love watching Jerry Jeudy. Okay, there are some bright spots here. I'm a big Jerry Jeudy fan, have been since day one. He became the 15th Browns player to have a 1,000-yard receiving season.
Jerry Jeudy, you're right. But you want to hear something really funny, guys? And so I'm always doing a pregame show right there before the game, and it was just miserable. I mean, absolutely miserable before the game because it was raining and we didn't have any cover or anything. For a minute, we had umbrellas that we were using, and Jerry Jeudy always come out, and he's right in the back of us. He's always warming up right there.
Yeah.
And I always think of this funny thing. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and I told you guys a commercial, but it's about Alabama. And this guy, the players are getting off the bus, and they're walking down, and then there's this one guy, high tide, high tide, high tide.
Oh, yeah.
High tide. And then all of a sudden, someone next to him said, no, it's not high tide, it's roll tide. And you see all the blood and everything drains up this guy's face, and then all of a sudden the guy starts coming, then he starts saying, roll tide, roll tide. That is the funniest thing. And you guys wouldn't get it because you're no Alabama fan.
That's like someone coming up to you and saying, I love the dog park.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I love the dog park, Hanford. Right. Like, no.
That is so cute that you said that about that commercial, because even when I watched it, I forgot to text you.
Yeah, high tide, high tide, high tide, and he's so sincere. This guy is so sincere. High tide, high tide. And then all of a sudden he said, roll tide.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back with more of the dog park and the top dog right after this. Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time for our Browns headlines, brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. If you're looking to update your home, you've got to check out our friends at Northeast Factory Direct. They've got furniture, kitchen cabinets, hot tubs, mattresses, and so much more for way less than what you'd spend at those fancy retail stores. You can shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com or visit any of their stores in Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton. And don't forget to ask about that Hanford Dixon bonus. Hanford and I actually had a chance to do our field trip and go together, look at the recliners, really nail down the one that we want to put in somebody's man cave, and we had kind of a fun time.
Are you still mad at me because I didn't wait for you to pick the recliner? I already had it picked out by the time. I know
I trust you, though.
But you were mad until you got in the chair, actually got in the chair, and then you started working with it and reclining. That thing was amazing.
Yeah, it had a whole remote control because it had so many options. And I trust the top dog. You know, I said I think that he, with his back and, you know, your recovery throughout your playing days, you're in a place, you're the guy who'd pick out a very comfortable recliner.
But here's what was funny watching you in that chair. You won't last long because you'll be asleep.
I know.
I guarantee you.
It was a little too comfortable.
You will be
you
asleep
can
in
adjust
that chair.
Yeah, you can adjust it. It even came with a little pillow. You could take it on or off. But truly, once you get into that one position, just everything gets so aligned, and it could be lights out, especially if it's not the best game to watch.
How about those patio furniture, guys? I mean, hot tubs.
Yeah.
You name it over there. They had so much stuff. I mean, like dining room table sets. Unbelievable stuff at Northeast Factory Direct.
I know. Shout out to Alex and all of the Northeast Factory Direct staff for helping us.
Were you surprised, though, of everything they have in that warehouse?
It's kind of cool. All the things you can really look at, and it's like a one place where you're trying to look at maybe different parts of your house and what to add. It's got all that for you. So that's really convenient. And the fact that you can take it home same day, they've got a ton in stock.
Well, I'm glad you didn't bring your a bathing suit or nothing because when you touch that water in the hot tub, I mean, it was warm, wasn't it?
That's one that would be hard not to pop into.
Yes, yes.
Especially on a chilly winter day. Like, that's the fun part about it with the family. You make a lot of memories with these things, too. Alex has
with
talked
the garage
about that.
beer?
Yeah.
Crack one open.
There you go.
Yeah. Gab, you know what we used to do, though? We used to contrast between hot and cold.
Right.
And we would get in the hot tub, and then we would get in the cold tub. And that cold tub, and I think I told you this, but that cold tub, I mean, for the first 5 minutes, I'm telling you, it is so cold. What we started to do was had to cover up our toes.
Yep. Before you put them in.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I recently did a cold plunge, and I thought, you know what? I can do this, but my toes are cold.
Yeah. You cover up your toes, but again,
if you are kicking back, you know, like as Hanford and I would have done if we weren't at the game, just hanging out and chatting with everybody and watching the game. We'd be at home, kicking it back in the recliner, and having the option to pass out when the halftime hits. We do have to talk about the Browns. I'm just trying to segue us back in that direction because I know there's a few things we got to unwind, chit-chat about before we can just clear the slate and look ahead.
Well, that's what I was going to say because I know you're going to steer me in on those penalties. You can't wait to talk about that. You was just hitting me with
and what about the turnovers, Pat?
God, it was brutal, guys. There were
6?
6 turnovers. So DTR threw 1 when he came in relief of Jameis, but the thing about Jameis was they were ugly turnovers. I can live with some of the, some of the better throws, dangerous throws, but these ones were just not good.
Well, and the thing about them, Pat, I think a lot of them were before the snap, and that's what's amazing to me when they call these penalties before the snap. And they didn't accept all of them. I mean, you look at it, I think we had offensive outside. We had illegal, aligned in an illegal formation, ineligible man, downfield, just to name a few. And
illegal formations, Hanford. Is this coaching?
Oh, God, no question about it.
I
mean,
we expect players to know what to do, but I mean, I on things like that, sometimes I wonder, so who's who here?
Look at, especially at this time, at this point in the season, I mean, it's not like we're just started playing football. I mean, we've been playing football for, what was it, 15?
Yeah.
Week 15?
Week 15 coming up, and we're still having these penalties. I bet you, Pat, don't know this one. I know you guys probably have it somewhere, though. Guess what we rank as far as penalties? What number? 20.
How many?
8?
I think I said 28.
Yeah, in the league in penalties. Now figure that out.
Yeah,
That's
so Gab, if you look at this on the screen here, Browns lead the league in pre-snap penalties both last year and this year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's unreal. Like what? That's on coaching. It has to be on coaching.
Yeah.
And see what that does is it kills drives. I mean, it actually kills drives because what you're doing is from 1st and 10 you usually end up 1st and 15 or 2nd and 15 and it's just it just puts you like in a bad position because what you want to do is you want to keep moving the chains. You want to keep the chains moving. And if you get to 3rd down, you want to convert that 3rd down. And with all these penalties, they are what we call drive killers.
Yep.
They will kill a drive, and we just can't have that. And especially, I keep talking about this at this stage of the year. I mean, these are things you work on and you get out of the way at the beginning in training camp, and you get them out of the way in the beginning of a season.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it shows. That's why our record. That's why we've only won 3 games this year because of all the penalties. Just to name one thing, that's just a big part of it. And I guarantee you, Stefanski will be the first one to tell you, you just can't have those things. You just can't have them. And guys need to take it upon themselves, take a little bit more pride in it themselves, and realize that you have to eliminate these penalties if you're going to do anything. So as a result, it really, really hurt.
Well, we know that Coach Stefanski is a good coach, but how many wins do you think he needs to get off the hot seat?
Boy, that's going to be tough because I think Jimmy, he was at the meetings last week, and I think he was asked that question, and he really endorsed not only Stefanski, but he also endorsed Andrew Berry as 2 guys that will be back with this football team. But and I think both of those guys just got new contracts this year. They just signed new contracts, but these owners, they'll say anything. I mean, they'll change their mind in a minute. And not to say we shouldn't believe him, but I'm just saying we've seen it too many times. We've seen these guys change their minds about whether or not they're going to keep a coach. I think it's going to come down to. I think if we drafted today, I think we'll have the 7th overall pick in the draft right now. And I think it's going to come down to the remainder of these games. How do we do? How do we look? Whether we continue on the same pace that we're on right now, continue losing ball games. And I think that's going to say a lot because it doesn't appear as if Stefanski have lost this team because somewhat they are still playing hard for him. But it all comes down to wins and losses. That's what it comes down to. And you could see it in the win column. We're just we don't have it. Guys, we are last in the AFC North. And we're talking about a division that was supposed to be really, really strong. And obviously you got Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and then you got Cincinnati, and then you have us. So I think that was a good question, but that's what it's going to come down to, wins and losses, especially with these last few games.
All right, well, let's go around the AFC North.
Oh, I can't wait. Big games coming up. Can't wait. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We have got to get into our AFC North, okay? We're calling it Around the North, obviously, and we've got our game to check out. This is all brought to you by Garage Beer. We got to take a look, a little snapshot. Browns-Bengals, okay? Browns are playing the 6-8 Bengals this week. And how do you keep guys motivated after a game like we saw over the weekend to bounce back and just put our best foot forward, especially, you were a player and in those shoes. What's the key?
Well, you see why I'm smiling when you started talking about the big games that is coming up, because I don't care what the records are right now. You could throw the records out of the window right now. Whenever these two teams, talking about the Browns and the Bengals, play each other, it's just a massive, massive game. This game, Gab, was supposed to be, and Pat, you correct me if I'm wrong, this game was supposed to be on Thursday night. And
yes, it was.
Yeah, and now they changed it. I guess they say, these two teams.
Yep. It's the first ever flex of a Thursday night football game.
Yeah, they were like, never mind.
Man, I feel for all the people who had flights into Cincy too,
right?
Into that godforsaken airport. I don't know if you guys have been down there, but CVG Airport, the worst airport.
Really?
People say Hopkins is. CVG, I don't care.
I don't think Hopkins is that bad.
Hopkins is not that bad.
I've
It's
never even
old.
had to wait that long. Like,
No.
you get there, even when the
It's
line
quick.
is super long, you're like, I'm going to make it by the season.
Isn't it funny, though, how the NFL doesn't take all that into consideration when they do whatever they want
They
to
make
do.
money moves.
They make money. Wait a minute. That was good. Do it again. What do they make?
Money moves.
You got it. But that is so funny. But again, like we said, this game was supposed to be on Thursday, but they switched it, and it was on Fox. I think now it's on CBS, and it's a 1:00 game. But again, you could throw the records out the window because these two teams, obviously, they play each other twice a year. They know each other very, very, very well. And it's going to be in Cincy. This one is going to be down there, and it's going to be a big game.
They haven't been swept by Cincinnati since 2017.
Well, we haven't, and we're not planning on letting that happen because I mean, the Bengals right now, I think they still have a shot at making the playoffs. I think all they have to do is continue to win. They have to continue to win. And boy, it just seemed like Burrows right now is heating up, and Lamar Chase is just phenomenal. Lamar Chase is having such a really good year. Pat, did they sign him, or is he still up for a contract?
Still up for a contract. Jamar Chase. Yeah, 1,400 yards and 15 touchdowns through week 15.
Wow.
Yeah, you think they're gonna franchise tag him? They could, but who would you franchise tag though? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean,
and
one of them's gonna walk.
And both of those guys are playing really, really well. I think if they were gonna let someone walk, it would be pretty much T. Higgins and not. I mean, Chase is. I'm telling you, this guy, and I didn't know. You talking about fast? You should see him run, Gab.
I know, he's like a cheetah.
Yeah,
cheetah Chase.
Yeah, he's very, very fast. But I think the Bengals are going to have a little bit extra juice. For this ball game.
And they've scored at least 27 points in each of their last 6 games. Like they're doing it.
But again, throw the records out.
Right.
This is going to be a big game.
Okay.
There's also some huge injury news for the Browns, too. Martin Emerson's going to be out. JOK is still on IR. Denzel Ward, we don't know if he'll be available. But, I mean, Denzel Ward had that pick 6 a couple of years ago, 100-yard pick 6. But Browns secondary hurt. The Bengals defense is awful. Take the over. Well, you're taking the over in this game.
Are they saying what's wrong with Denzel? Or you just know
it's something new every week.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, he's but there's no way we can go into this game without our 2 starting corners. I mean, Emerson and Denzel Ward. That would be just absolutely insane. And obviously we have Cam who's number 29, who's going to be in there replacing Emerson. But you need all guys on deck with this game. So big game.
Okay, more around the north. Big game though. Steelers are at the Ravens. Steelers are 10-4. Ravens 9-5. This is on Saturday. What type of game do you expect to see here?
Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about at this time of the year. This is the game. This is where you just, I don't care how long it's been since I've played. I want to take those cleats out. I want to lace them. I want to spat my shoes, and I'm ready to play. I'm ready to play this week because that's how big of a game this is. Now, Gab.
Yes.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, and this game is going to be in Baltimore. I'm pretty sure. Baltimore's got a home game on this game. Now, and Baltimore, in their mind, they think they should have beat the Steelers the first time they played them.
Yep.
But they obviously they didn't. But let me tell you something with this game. Now, if the Pittsburgh, this is how big this game. If the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game, it doesn't matter what else happened during the rest of the season. They would pretty much going to win the AFC North. And that's why Baltimore understands and know how big this game is. All chips on the line. This is who's going to pretty much take the AFC North. And the Steelers' schedule is a little bit tougher than what the Baltimore Ravens' schedule is going to be. And they just beat up on the Giants last week. I mean, just absolutely beat up on them. I think Lamar Jackson threw 5 touchdown passes in that game. Big game for him, and he's fighting, going back and forth between Josh Allen and who's going to win the MVP. And everybody's saying that Josh Allen has got this thing wrapped up right now, but Lamar is saying to himself, hey, wait a minute right here. And the big key with them, Baltimore right now, they got Derrick Henry, who is that big back. And their defense, that's been their Achilles heel. The defense hasn't played well for the Baltimore Ravens. Now their defense seems like it's starting to play a little bit better. I think they're kind of getting some guys back healthy. But again, this is a massive game and a game that I wish I could play in. I would love to put those cleats on and play in this game.
Just one more time.
We're
going to take a break.
I'll probably pull a hamstring or something.
Know.
Get out there.
We're going to keep you healthy.
I get out there and run 10 yards and my quad or my hamstring or something. Look at me rubbing my quad and my hamstring back
I know.
here.
I saw your shoulder, too, over at the Browns game halftime. Maybe no.
Hey, you saw that?
Maybe no quarterbacking for you, but you can still run.
Well, you know what? I had my little what do you call my little man purse?
You had like a little man satchel?
Yeah, I had that on, and people didn't know that, and that was restricting me from throwing the ball.
All right, good. I'm glad. I thought
I needed some kind of excuse.
I thought there was something there. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. We'll keep you healthy so you don't be pulling any hamstrings or throwing your shoulder out of socket. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We are joined by our special guest, another Browns backer. Kenny Mack is representing the Ottawa chapter. How cool is this? Just wait till you hear this accent. Thanks for joining us.
You see him, Gap, coming in barking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny, how you doing,
Browns
big dog?
Through.
How you doing, my friend?
Good. I can't complain. I think the temperature from Cleveland up to here is all around the same. So got a little bit of rain. Don't have the big coat out yet. So feeling good about Christmas coming up, and hopefully the Browns can deliver some presents at some point.
Well, you're talking about some presents, Kenny. Now, you're talking about Christmas coming up. Now, I'm going to pull one over on you. You better know this. You know my birthday is coming up. Now, I'm going to ask you, when is my birthday? And that's pretty easy now. You just hit on it. Kenny?
It's Christmas Day.
My
25th.
man.
Yeah.
It's the Lord's Day and Hanford's Day.
Right. Kenny,
Dog Day.
Tell us, how did you become a Browns fan?
So if you take a look where Cleveland Stadium is, and you're on a map and you actually draw straight across the lake to the Canada side, there's a little village there called Erie Beach. And growing up, I got all the stations on antenna. So you're basically looking at channel 3, channel 5, channel 8, channel 19, channel 43. Those are the ones that I remember would carry Browns at some point. Power 108. I don't know if you remember that station or not, but when the Browns won and I was a little kid, there was like about 15 songs that they used to play in a row. And I thought it was so cool that they had like something called the Dog Pound, which Top Dog originally named, right?
Right.
And I thought, wow, these guys are barking. And then, believe it or not, I have a cousin that played in the CFL. He was an Edmonton Eskimo, and he got traded. And Hanford can like get me on the timelines here. He got traded in '87, and I believe the Alouettes folded in '87. But that's when the NFL went on strike, I believe. So he was a scab, and he was a scab for the Cleveland
Yeah.
Browns. So we ended up watching some of those games, and his name was David Sparenberg. He
Yeah.
actually was a scab and made the actual team. And I believe he was on the practice squad until sometime in the '89 season.
Yeah, it's so funny. He's talking about the scab, because that was, we had that strike year and all that, and some of the players that came in, we were all mad at them, and that's where they got the name
The scab.
the scab players. So we were all upset with that whole
that
thing.
is so funny. What a small world. Now, Kenny, how did you evolve to create this chapter? Obviously, your Browns fandom has stuck with you throughout your life, and were you the one responsible for assembling your chapter?
Yeah, so basically, I moved up to Ottawa, went to Carleton University, went to Algonquin College, stayed up here for the high tech scene, and got some sales jobs in between. There came a point when my kids got old enough where I was like, man, I just want to hang out with some Browns fans. And, Cleveland's 8 hours away, so it's a little tough to make that commute all the time. So I knew there was the Browns backers worldwide, and I kind of rode the Baker train when he got drafted. So in 2018, they had a decent 7-9 season, I think. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to ride this train and let's just start something. I ended up going to my local bar, which is a golf bar called Mulligan's Golf Bar. And the owner, believe it or not, was a Browns fan as well. So we just collaborated, kicked off the 2019 season as the Ottawa Browns backers, and we get to run the telecasts through the actual golf simulator. So it's on you guys have all seen a golf simulating screen.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
got to be 10 feet by 20 feet. So that's what we watch it on the high def projectors. So not only do we get good food, we have our very own beer that Evergreen Brewing does for us called Pound Town Lager. We have a blast, and we've been doing it ever since. And I usually get about 20, 30 people out. I mean, this is a Bills town, just so you know. And we have a blast doing it.
It's been a treat hearing from Kenny.
Yeah.
It's no surprise
Right.
that you have your own podcast. And
Right.
for people who don't know the Dawgs podcast, tell us a little bit about it so they can find it, because we love your analysis already.
So kind of one of the funny stories that I didn't tell you is the reason I'm a Browns fan is the only other option was really the Detroit Lions. But my antenna when I was growing up got stuck on Cleveland as well.
Oh,
Right.
that's so funny.
And so that's led
The
me
truth
to
comes out.
being
Yeah,
a Browns
yeah,
fan.
yeah.
And then, all these years later, I make my Browns backers chapter. And so the Dawgs podcast reached out when they started off during COVID, and they're like, do you mind if I throw some content up on your Facebook group? I'm like, sure, but I'm going to be watching this, making sure you guys are good, because I don't want anything that's not relevant or good in my group. Well, I started watching them, and these guys were like, well, if you leave a voicemail or if you leave an intro, we'll play it if you're any good. I'm like, oh my God, these guys want to listen to what I say? And I started calling them all the time. And they
Oh.
kept playing me, and they kept playing me, and they kept playing me. And then it came to a point where they kind of had an after hours show, and that was for their group that we kind of paid into. And I went on there, and they're like, hey, maybe you should just go on the real show. You kind of, based on your viewing and the experience you have with the Browns, like let's try and do something. And so I just started contributing and having some fun talking about the Browns. And these guys have been doing it since, like I said, COVID, which is 2020. And they've been getting after it, and they're slowly getting their falling up and up. And generally what we try to do is not try to be overly emotional, try to look at the stats and try and see what's good for the Browns and call out the guys that aren't performing and see what they can do, like just based on stats, not being irrational.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And now people can listen to you in the Big Play app. And this is the Dawgs podcast. And we're excited to have that as part of our network.
I was going to
Yeah,
give him a hard
it's a
time because I
blast.
thought that was the top dog. I was like, wait a minute, God
I know.
damn it.
I
Wait
know.
a minute.
I had to catch myself a little bit.
Kenny, how tell if someone wanted to come and be with you guys at, to watch the game and become a member of your chapter, let everybody know how they do that.
Yeah, so if you're up in the Ottawa area, I would just basically say, even if you're in Eastern Ontario, a good hour and a half around the capital of Canada, which is Ottawa. The Ottawa Browns backers are super easy to find. If you go into any social media source and you go Ottawa Browns backers, and don't forget the S's on the end of both those, you will find us. You can go to ottawabrownsbackers.ca. You can look at our website. I always have our events posted. Obviously, we're going to put together from the start of preseason all the way through the end of playoffs. I'm going to be there pretty much all the time unless I'm actually at a game, and I always have somebody there just in case. We'll have a bunch of people. We always do raffles. We always do door prizes and that kind of stuff just to kind of celebrate the Browns. And last but not least, just come out, have a good time, and you'll be coming to 201 Queen Street in Mulligan's Golf Bar, and come out and bark with us.
Well, I don't know if there's much barking going on with this season, but
Yeah, true.
Hey, and I want to tell you this. You see, right now I'm wearing some merch, from one of the Browns backers, Gab. You see that in
That's a cool
my
one.
back right there?
Shenanigans.
Yeah. So, Big Dog, if you got some cool merch, you want to send us some, we'll wear it. Not Gabby. She doesn't need any. She has enough merchandise. So
I'll bring a hat for Gab, and I'll bring I'll see if I got a shirt for you. I'll make sure the arms are big enough to get those guns in there for you.
You got it, Big Dog. You got it.
Kenny, what a treat. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it was a blast, guys.
We'll see you next time. Go Browns.
Go Browns. Hoo, hoo.
We'll be right back with more Top Dog. Sorry, what's our name of our show again? The Hanford Dixon Show.
What am I going to do with you?
We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It is time to chat about Lipton Hard Iced Tea. We're not going to do a hard hit of the game. I'm throwing you a curveball, Hanford. I want to throw you a little trivia.
Hey, you could have used one of them at the game.
I could have used a Lipton Hard Iced Tea at the Browns game for sure. Yeah. I want to talk to you about the flavors because I know you and I have both sampled the flavors. Some people out there might not know all that is offered. So my trivia question for you is, what are the flavors that Lipton Hard Iced Tea has to offer? And they're right in front of you, but try to do it without looking.
Well, I could tell you this, and you're going to fight me on this because you're going to say there's 4, but I'm going to say there's 5.
Okay, you are correct. Yep.
One is and I'm not looking, there's a green.
Yep.
There's a strawberry.
There's a strawberry, yep.
There's a peach.
Yes.
And there's a lemon.
Yes. Now, this last one's a little harder.
I was looking for some help from you on this last one.
Half and half.
Half and half, the best one. Yes. What am I talking about? How can I forget the half and half?
The half and half. Yeah, that one is an interesting one. It's like the half lemonade, half
you know
iced tea.
You know what that half?
Not to be confused with their actual lemonade flavored iced tea. They're different.
You know what that half and half make me do?
Yes.
Some people say I'm no good after I drink that half and half. Crazy as can be. I get drunk in the morning, I get stoned in the afternoon, but I ain't asking nobody for nothing but a Lipton Hard Iced Tea.
Cute.
You don't like the way I'm living. Leave this short hair country boy alone, god damn it.
You're funny. Yeah, that green tea, by the way, is a newer addition, and it's really, really good. So people got to try that one. Obviously, you can get the variety pack. It comes with the 4 lemon. The half and half is the one with lemonade. I might have messed that up earlier. It's just a lemon version that they have, but the half and half has more of like a lemonade half with it. Peach. Those are in your
You know what I thought, and that's why I wanted to impress everybody at Lipton Hard Iced Tea, because you're always getting all the gear. So I thought if I can throw that into my song, and maybe they'll give me some gear. You think?
Oh, you get the gear. He's silly. He's silly. But maybe you want. I saw you wear their beanie. He had a nice Lipton Hard Iced Tea beanie on at our little event that we did.
I did, and they're just. I'm really impressed, and I'm not just saying this. I'm really impressed with their product. It tastes really, really good, and so I would just advise everybody that haven't tried it. You should really try it. And again, there's five flavors, but half and half is unbelievable.
And I think the fact that it's not so bubbly, it goes down smooth. So this is great addition for you tailgating or watching the Browns game at home. We got to take a short break. Hanford will be back with more Hanford Dixon Show after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. As we round out our nice episode here, we're trying to keep the spirits a little high after what was a tough game to watch over the weekend, which seems to be the increasing trend here. But hey, Hanford, you know what? When we look at our history, it's not the worst we've seen. At least it's not 2001. Okay, this isn't no bottle gates over the weekend. and we want to keep the vibes high, you know? Because I was trying to liken it to, hey, at least over the weekend, we're not history repeating itself. Bottlegate, okay, that occurred this day in 2001. And, you know, no one's throwing bottles, knock on wood, on the field anymore. What a day for our franchise. And actually, I don't know if you knew this, Hanford, producer Pat has a personal story of being at the game.
Yeah, guys, I was 5. I think I was 5. So this was 2001, December 16th, 2001. And me and my mom made it out unscathed. But
wow.
For those who don't know what Bottlegate is outside of Cleveland, I'm sure they all do.
Yeah,
but
that's true. Let's
so
give them some history.
the Jaguars beat the Browns 15-10. This would have been the Browns' first chance to make the playoffs since coming back. But then there was a catch for the Browns. I think it was Hanford.
Officiating controversy.
Exactly. So then they ruled down that they needed to be a booth review under 2 minutes. And then they said after the next play had been run that it was an incomplete pass. And then here come the bottles.
Wow.
So I threw my little Sprite down.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you throw a juice box out there
Yeah,
or
that's
what?
right. My little Capri Sun.
Well, if there's a bit of positive news we could end on, how about the Bills-Browns game of 2007?
That's right.
Yeah.
Another piece of history, guys. Look at this.
Because I know that Pat had a picture pulled up for us.
Yeah.
Look at this, guys.
Hey, the snow game.
So this reminds me of the Steelers-Browns game from Thursday night this year. But the Browns won this game 8-0. And Gab, we got a Phil Dawson jersey. He was an absolute MVP of that game.
Bring back the Dawson.
Yeah. He kicked through the snow, 2 field goals. The Browns win 8-0. On their way to almost make the playoffs in 2007. Hanford, they were 10-6.
Boy,
didn't make the playoffs.
Boy,
how does that happen?
It was cold too. I mean, it was absolutely cold. But we had a good football team then. A
Jamal
good football
Lewis.
team. Yeah, we had a really good team, and it was just such a shame that team couldn't continue and play in the playoffs. So kind of bad, but that's all right.
Some positive news before we got out of here.
Yeah,
You know?
thanks. It's like you end on a little
Good memories,
fluff,
you know?
on a positive note.
So, Gab, what do you think you about this game? You do we win, or what's your thoughts? You think we beat the Bengals?
I thought we were ending on a positive note. Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're gonna go in there and beat. We're gonna beat the Bengals.
I'm gonna go in with you too. I say we beat the Bengals. The hell
We're
with
due.
those
Let's
Cincinnati
just
Bengals.
look better. Let's look better. Let's do it. Thanks for watching the Hanford Dixon Show. We'll see you next week.